Well, we're going to do a little video update of where we are with our mine locomotives. Since last time we did a little tour at the shop. Not a whole lot's happened on the Whitcomb except for our new seat. Made a new seat and a new handle for the speed control. So, yeah, this can be operated properly now. The Whitcomb needs some new batteries put back in. We're working on the brakes right now and some new bumpers. We got the wood for it, we just got to get them cut and put on. And then this guy's ready to rock and roll again. So that's this one. And then the GE, since we were here last, we'll start from this end. We're going to kind of go through the whole thing. So we took the line car catches off of here. So these things would stand on the end in case the car would jumped over the bumpers and keep it from crashing into the operator on the other end or the battery box on this end. Remove those so we can put new wooden bumpers in here. We got the resistor grid removed so we can rebuild that. The traction motors are both ready to be removed. All the wiring has been disconnected and numbered and labeled. No, this one doesn't go to anything. These here have all been numbered as well as the corresponding ones on the motor. The bolts have been all safely removed. Right, Josh? Mm-hmm. Yep. So how these come out is they're bolted onto the axle with the half of the bearing assemblies here. I think we were working on this last time, weren't we? Trying to get these bolts out when we did the tour last time. Didn't we just get these out maybe?
Yeah, shop day, yeah.
I think so, yeah. So half of these bearing caps come off. So half of the motor's held to the axle with this bolt here, there's another one, and then these caps come off. And then on this big spring, on the bottom side, there's a pin that goes through. So we got the two bolts on either end of this beam. So we'll pull that pin. We're gonna have an excavator with it, or actually probably use a forklift now. Forklift with a chain onto the motor. Pull the pin on the bottom, pull these beams off, and then the whole traction motor can lift out. And we're going to do that with both traction motors. And then the thing could roll a lot easier. There's a lot of rolling resistance with the traction motors. And then the plan is to take the motors up to the Trolley Museum in Scranton. And they're going to test the motors for us and see if they even turn, to see if they're worth rebuilding or not. I don't know, I think we looked in here last time, but they're definitely going to need some work. But it'd be good to know if they even if they just turn or they're not shorted out or whatever. And then we're going to paint the whole inside, bring the battery boxes back from outside, set them on top, paint the battery boxes, paint the whole thing up and make it look good, and then put it on temporary display as just a static display for now, while we're working on getting the motors tested and the speed control rebuilt. So the speed control needs all new wood insulator pieces for the drums. This got some water in it and froze and split. So we have to rebuild both sides of the speed control. And of course it needs a new floor too. We did get the brake rigging all removed and freed up. I think the brake rigging itself was off last time, right? Wasn't it? You got that off last time at the last tour day. We got all the brake rigging off, but the brake wheel was stuck. That was frozen in the pivot assembly. So we got that removed, got that painted. We got new bearings for it. Believe it or not, they actually still make those bearings. So we had to call General Electric and give them the serial number of the mine locomotive, and they shipped us new bearings for it. Now, McMaster car. So just measured the dimensions and got all those. Let's see, there was a cover over the wiring. It goes from the speed control back to the resistor grid into the motors. Cut that off, that'll get a new cover on it. That was all rusted away. And other than that, it's just removing rusty stuff and either replacing the steel that's no good or cleaning up and putting back what is good. And that's kind of where we stand. The goal is to, like I said, get this one running, but not totally running like that one is, because this one takes a lot more voltage, so we'll need a lot more batteries to make this one go. That one we're going to get working again and get it in and running at the Brooks Mine project. So that'll be pretty neat to drive that in and out of the drift. I always wanted to say for its 100th birthday, it'd be neat to have it underground again. Its 100th birthday's in 2020 or 2026. was built in 1906 or 1926. So that'll be, looks like we might actually beat it. But, yeah, minecart shop.
And you have enough parts to rebuild 4 cars?
Oh, the cars, yeah. We have 3 36-inch, oh, I'm sorry, well, technically we have 4, maybe 5 36-inch gauge cars, however we want to build them up. We have enough wheel and axle sets for 4 or 5 cars, and then we have a set of 30-inch gauge axles too, and wheels and bumpers and drawbars to build a Hudson Coal Company car that we were going to put on display behind this. So this was used at the Powderly Colliery in Carbondale, the Hudson Coal Company. And yeah, just last fall we got a gentleman from Carbondale donated us wheels and axles and bearing blocks and some other parts for a Hudson Coal Company car. So that would go on display with this one. But we're going to build a flat car to use at Brooks unless we get a little more lightweight one to push back and forth in there until we get the mine motor there and stuff. But so we'll put those cars back together. Those cars were rolling, and it looks like just a couple steel parts, but they were mine cars not that long ago. They will be again. Well, so that goes on the rail as a wheel chock. So it clips on the head of the rail, and then that comes down. You step on it. And then you put a board or a tie here, and the wheel would bump against the wooden tie. You'd have one on both rails. And then to get it back off, you would just lift up on that guy, and then pull it back off. Nice. We'll see. It's pretty cool because it's like an inside wheel car. No, I'm sorry, it's an outside wheel, so the wheels are on the outside of the car. The frame's on the inside. So the frame comes up and then does one of these. And the wheels are on the outside. And then there's a bottom, like the bottom sheet pan has wheel wells for the wheels.
Really?
It's pretty cool. You can like mold it into it. It's like a cast piece. So it'd be kind of cool to see, but it's been in there for, it might have been in there for 100 years now.
Where did that one go?
That's the plan though with that other, with the Escapeway, the way we are going to drive it is just going to be, I want to make it like an S-turn like the actual gangway is or the drift is, that way you can't see when you're there. Yeah, so take a couple cuts in and swing her off to the left and then swing it back to the right again. And that's only going to be short because the plan is to only take it in the Dunmore 2 vein, which is the top vein of coal in there, so it's only 3 feet thick. So that's why I want to get the, there's a shaker conveyor, just like in the Dunmore 2 at Lackawanna. There's the actual conveyor motor sitting down at the number 9 mine tour. And then Lackawanna has a whole pile of the shaker pans.
Yeah, I saw that.
So if we get the motor up from the number 9, get the pans from Lackawanna, and take them over there and set them up inside, and then when we're driving the Escapeway out, just come on, boys, get your shovels. So we mine in the little vein. It'll only be 3 feet high. Go in there, and set our props, shovel it out. You know, shimmer and shovel all the way up until we start seeing dirt.
So I guess you gotta, to help in that effort, just being a laborer, you have to have probably some sort of certification.
Yeah, you're supposed to. We all have our new miner training and stuff, but we'll see. If people want to show up for the day and help out.
How do you get that?
You go down to the Tremont Mine Rescue Station, and they offer it. Usually, depending on the time of year or who needs it. Yeah, it's a week long. It's 40 hours. It's 4 days in the classroom, and the last day you're supposed to be underground at the mine you're going to work at. So, yeah, it's a 40-hour training course. Then once you get that, then you're an official apprentice miner. And then from there, you get your job underground somewhere, and then you work for. You have to work for at least 2 years underground, and then once you get your 2 years in, you go take the miner's test, which is a gas test, a blaster's test, and just basic mine law kind of stuff. just basic stuff. And then once you have your mining papers, you get your mining papers and your blaster's card then. And that's what I got in 2010. Then you have to work another 5 years underground full time. Then you can go take a foreman test. So it's a 7-year commitment. So.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, you tell you and Chris now in the business. It was interesting hearing the descriptions and the tour based. You could tell that knowledge was coming out. Like, I mean, you're describing it as you're working it and how it's working. I mean, that was really fascinating to me. It's like a different angle. You know, because instead of just going and speculating, well, they must have done this, and back in the old days they did that. It's like, no, this is how you go. And I didn't know that whole thing about the lane development part. I mean, I always thought that all those pillars just stayed in. It was just the way it was. And
Yeah.
you just got what you got. I didn't realize that. You know, that the bulk of the money was.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It's in
That's
taking
an
them.
angle that, you know, since you're in business, you know that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've Zets I did at like especially like Carline Coal Company. I was one of the only breast miners there. There was like 14 guys underground, but there's Dusty Steely, he's from over Trevor, and myself that we're development miners. So we were trying to the gangway. I actually drove gangway there for quite a while. I had a couple of apprentices under me. And then when one of them went and got his mining papers, and one of the foremen came to me one day at that time, and he said, Banksy, do you think he's ready? Hey, my buddy Justin Klinger. Do you think he's ready? I was like, what? You think he can drive this gangway by himself? Like, and there was big gangways. I'm talking timber like this, like big, gassy, slippy, just nasty. Yeah, Klinger's, you know, he'll be able to do it. And we had another apprentice there at the time that was pushing buggies and helping him out and stuff, and I was just kind of watching her do what I do. I'm always busy doing something, but just make sure. Like, all right, because we need you upstairs. So then they were driving the gangway down below. Klinger then took over the gangway, and there was a crew driving the monkey up above him, and then there was different guys who go down and take the chutes up between the gangway and the monkey to make the air connections every 60 feet. And then I was up above the monkey with Dusty Steely, and we were just driving breasts. So anything above the monkey level, driving up back towards the surface, is called a breast. And you take the breasts, we drive the breasts up. What were we doing? I think we were driving 30 feet. We had 30-foot pillars. We're driving up 30 feet and across 30 feet. And Dusty and I'd be mining side by side. He'd be in one breast and I'd be the other. And we'd usually be ready to fire right around the same time. And we'd fire our breast cuts and smoke would go out, clear, and here we go right back up to work. Go up, the two of us, we'd go like a race against each other at half the time. Crawl up your timber, dress it all off, and once you dress it off, if you needed to get your next timber set in, you could. If you're ready to drill right away, just take your drill up and drill the vein up above you and go back up, tamp it, fire it, go back down. Dusty, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. We go back, down around another heading and fire it off, and it would all fall down into the coal chutes down below, where they'd be down below tapping it out and running it. And we were just development mining, making all those connections, taking the breasts up and the headings across, connecting with each other, and then every 30 feet connecting with each other, and then start two more again and be driving up off the monkey and connecting with each other, and then connecting back to the last breast that we took up, and just making that grid work all up above, so that eventually we could go and when we got to the end, come back and then start drilling the pillars off, starting up above, and drill the pillars off and fire everything off into the chutes, and until the roof started breaking, and then move back to the next ones we had ready to go.
But where did you learn all that? I mean,
just doing it.
Really? I mean, you didn't have like some old time miners that you started out with, and it's like, here's how it works. And,
yeah. But usually you're just getting yelled at, so
right.
Most guys don't take it too well. They leave, But there's a lot of old timers that were still around yet at the time, and they learned so much from a lot of them. Just paying attention to what they do, watching them more than anything, because they don't like to explain much. They just kind of grumble at you, and eventually you start to pick it up. It takes a long time. That's why it takes so long, I guess, before they let you take your miner's test and your foreman's test and stuff.
It's like on the job training.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's very much it.
Yeah.
It's just so cool what you guys do. Yeah. I mean, because it's not just something you can just dabble in and do it. You know, it's, you gotta throw yourself in it.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yep.
You know, to be where you're at with it. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Dove in full bore. Went to work at Harmony, and then I was over at Alfred Brown Coal Company, and then Hemish shut us down, and I ended up actually up in Alaska, working for a gold mining company. And I did that for summer. It was the only surface mine I ever worked with. That was placer gold. And I was running the trommel and the sluicing operation all night long, 6 to 6 night shift. A camp mine up in the middle of nowhere, fly in, fly out. And I did that for the summer, made a bunch of money, decided to come home and blow it. I came home, I was back at Alfred Brown for a minute, and then I went back to northern Idaho where I was in a silver mine. I ended up coming back to the anthracite and stayed. And I worked at RSW Coal Company, Drift in Pottsville, for a little while. Then I went over to Carline Coal Company because my boy was on the way and they were making money over there. It was not the best, lots of gas in that mine, just kind of the conditions were not ideal, but I was making money. At the time, making whatever in my mid 20s and making $1,200 a week or whatever. You know, but yeah, and left there. I was working for S&J for a little while, and then just kind of floated back to Alfred Brown Coal Company, who gave us our, how do you say, like where we cut our teeth, as it were. He's been mining his whole life, still going. We just shut the mine down in New Philly. That's the one I was talking about, between Tamaqua and Pottsville. Just fighting with water, just pumping water till 10, 11 o'clock every morning. Can't get anything done. Trying to fight with the water, streaming into that place. Yeah. But we were mining in the slope was in the 7 foot. We mined the Skidmore, the bottom split of the Mammoth, the middle split of the Mammoth, and the top split of the Mammoth in there. And then we shut that down last fall. Been trying to get this mine over in Hectorville going, and Hectorville is where S&J Coal Company is. So I went back to work for them for the winter time and helping out on the side of the new slope. And now we're at the point that we'll probably take the first cut out of the brand new slope this week. We hope. So we start sinking, and then we watch Josh wear his shoulders out. Because mine are getting to the point where I don't want to anymore. But Josh and Dan and them want to come down.
Where do you sell the coal? I mean, where do you? I mean, is it going in? I mean, what's it being used for? I know a lot of it isn't used for heating. A lot of it is sold for,
actually
metallurgical.
Around Schuylkill County and stuff, there's a lot of it goes to residential heat. Yeah, there's quite a market. Yeah, a lot of residential. Then it goes to like a lot goes to Canada for like carbon filtration and stuff. Right now with Putin going nuts on Ukraine, there was anthracite in Ukraine. We were just saying, and so demand is up like crazy for anthracite. It's not coming out of there, so there's just trainloads of it going out. Hopefully soon run out, so the price will go up. Yeah, because we're just selling to. We always just sold to local breakers, and then they sell it to. They process it, and then they'll sell it, wherever it goes from there.
Okay, so I guess you just truck it to local breakers, and then they process it.
Yeah.
For market.
Yeah, they'll buy the mine run off of us, and then they process it, and they retail it from there.
I'm wondering how that works. Yeah.
Yep.
So are they grades anthracite?
Grades?
Yeah.
Yes, in a way.
The sizes.
Oh yeah, there's sizes. Yeah.
Then there's like quality grades.
Sure. Yep. If you go like over in Trevorton and stuff, there's a lot more. The carbon's like less.
Yeah.
It's turning more into like semi-anthracite, and there's just more impurities in it. And then if you come like some of that Mammoth vein stuff in Hazelden, a lot of the stuff around Joliet, some of the lichens veins around the area, like the lichens too. And Mount Carmel was beautiful when I was mining Harmony. Just super high carbon content is what it comes down to in terms of quality. And there's not really any names for it, except say for like, anthracite, semi-anthracite. There's a whole bunch of like bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite, all that. But yeah, there's definitely differences in it, though, just in the region in terms of it mostly just comes down to carbon content.
Yeah, once upon a time, I guess when you were competing to sell the best heating coal or whatever, maybe it mattered, but now it's just getting crushed and made into filters or something.
Yeah, right.
It's gone.
Yeah, the higher the carbon, better. But
That stuff going to steel mills, it does matter though, right? I mean, the carbon content.
see, the thing is with that, they'll coke the impurities out of it. So they use bituminous coal, which is only like 70-some% carbon, whereas anthracite can be like 96, 97%. But it's so much easier to mine the bituminous coal with the continuous miners and the longwall miners because everything is flat under the ground. Like, they can get the volume that they need, and they're all set up to. I'm sure there's differences like in the way their process is that they're set up to burn the coke. Use the coke from the bituminous coal instead of using the anthracite. So makes us sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Here we are struggling along. There's only 5 underground anthracite mines left running right now. Just everything else goes up. Everything else goes up and up and up, and here the price just doesn't move. And it's like anymore. Everybody's just gritting their teeth and shaking their head and just hoping something changes, but kind of just holding on to hold on, just won't give up.